You can see up here I have mail for some reason. So anyway, yeah, so the story ones, what they're doing is they're making it so that they're unskippable, which means that people can actually watch the story and not get left behind. It's cool. I wish they would have implemented it a little earlier. Most people skip them because what they end up doing is they end up doing something like this. So once your level is high enough, you'll get different options, and then your main scenario, your alliance rates, and trials are unlocked at 50 with 50 and 60 dungeons. 50 and 60 dungeons are like vanilla and dungeon. But then, and you unlock leveling at 16. So this main scenario though is the ones where you basically, it's deciding that you can't skip it anymore. As well as, I believe it's also the raids, which require 50 and 60 depending on what you're doing. Trials. Now the trials are, what do they call them in these? The old word for them would be espers or aeons. They occasionally refer to them as icons in this one. E-I-K-O-N-S. They're the things that you're used to seeing as summons in the previous games. So like Bowl of Embers, which I have access to right now, is Ifrit. And then the naval is Titan, and Howling Wind is Garuda. Now some of these are important for if you were doing, say, the Summoner class, because the Summoner class, for a lot of their class things, like their class levels, they end up having to actually fight the Aeon before they can actually get the little mini version of it. It's called an Eggy. EGI. So the Eggy, there's 3 different ones, and they do different things, which changes when you hit 30. At first they start out as little carbuncles, up until you hit 30, and then at 30, your Arcanist class turns into 2 different jobs, which is Scholar and Summoner. The Summoner is DPS, the Scholar is a healer. Well, at that point, once you get the Soul Gems, they change into something else. So your carbuncles turn into Eggies as you level up. So the first one you get is you get a new Eggy, which is a melee DPS one, and it looks kind of like Ifrit, but you have to have beaten Ifrit first. Then Scholar, on the other hand, they turn into fairies, and the fairies help you heal. They throw out healing spells and stuff. So now, what I'm doing is, because I have hit 21, I have a class quest for Conjurer. So, now, this is New Gridania. It is... oh, I like to think of it as the Elf City. So, the races in the cities are actually very diverse. Like basically any race can be in any city. I just think this is more of an elven city. So every major city has a thing called the Aethernet. The Aethernet, when you first get to a city, you click on the big crystal, like this, and then the big crystal can actually go to different places. You can set it as a home point. But then you can also go to all of these other places as you go around the city. Click on them. I'll show you one here in a second. We're going to go to the Conjurer's Guild because we have a new quest at 20. We're level 20. So basically, whenever you get to a new city, you click on the big crystal. And then you click on all these little crystals. then once you get all the little crystals, you get access everywhere in the city. So I'm at the Conjurer's Guild. It's down in the earth. So basically every guild ends up with somebody, whoever's in charge, that you end up getting. You get quests from up until 30, and then once you get your soul gem and you become a job, not a class, summoner, scholar, then it turns into somebody else. You have to get some, or they send you to somebody that's specialized in what you're doing. So let's talk to Isumiyan. Brother Isumiyan requests that you assist with Sylphie's training. Greetings, Sokard. You radiate the confidence of Conjurer who neglects not his study of the elements. I confess I have no lesson for you to learn this day. Instead, I would ask that you aid in the education of another. Yes, I speak of Sylphie. So Sylphie, leading up to this, she's a girl that refuses to listen to the Conjurers, but she heals people at the cost of her own kind of life force. So basically, she gets really tired when she heals someone. And the leader of the guild, this guy, is afraid that she's going to hurt herself, or that she's going to push too hard. After no small amount of prompting, bordering on coercion, the child is finally promised to attempt to embrace the forces of nature, but I'm afraid the matter is not so easily resolved. Sophie has never attempted to learn the basic offensive spells that you and most other conjurers mastered before venturing into the wild. As such, she is ill-equipped to undertake the trials which furnished you and your peers with an understanding of the elements. Put simply, she is no match for the tainted spirits of nature. But, if a more capable conjurer were to accompany her and purify the corruption in her stead, it may yet serve to impress upon her the power of the forces at work. I bid you take her on the pilgrimage around the 12's Wood and give her the opportunity to witness these confrontations firsthand. Earth, wind, water, she must know them all. Show her the majesty and primal ferocity of nature. As it was with you, let Earth be her first lesson. Sophie awaits you at the Bent Branch Meadows. Pray forgive my presumption, but I thought it best to send her on ahead while her conviction remained strong. Once you've located the patch of corrupted soil at Bent Branch, draw forth the tainted sprite and let her witness the struggle that ensues. May the elementals aid you in this endeavor, Sokar. Quest accepted. So Bent Branch, here, this part's kind of neat. So here's our quest. Now this shows. Here's our map. But here's where we are. We're in Gridania. This is Bent Branch. So each of the zones, like for example, Gridania is the Black Shroud. And then over here you have North Shroud, you have Central Shroud. The Lavender Beds is a residential area. It's where player housing and guild housing is. And then the East Shroud. So now in this case, we're doing Central Shroud, so we're going to go to Bent Branch Meadows. They have to go there first, the first time through, in order to go touch the big crystal. These smaller towns only have a large crystal that eventually you can just teleport back to. Oh, here's my chocobo. I think you start the quest with the chocobo at 20 or 30. I want to say it's your first mount. The difference with other mounts, though, is that the chocobo can actually help you out. Like, it can fight with you. Here's Sylphie. She's saying something. Oh, I wish you'd come You are kind to help me. I've done nothing but mock you. Which is true. She doesn't like us. Well, if you're ready, the corrupted soil is just there. I promise I'll be paying attention. Okay, so here's the corrupted soil. We actually did this at, like, level 5. Shield we got is pretty good. Okay, that's it. That's all we need to do. Well, as far as I know. Ah! I wasn't scared, just a little startled, that's all. Oh, that was so sweet. Ah! It was as if a massive solid rat had erupted from the ground. Never felt anything never mind. We have to head to Benok next. Let's get this over with. Okay, so I don't know where that is. I don't know what she's talking about. If it's a person? Doesn't sound like a town. So let's see here. So normally, the quest that you're closest to or that you've just been working on, look here on the map. You see it's like a red outline. Like you can see, these are different quests that can be picked up. I just never did them. So we're just going straight east. With a tree in the way. We're gonna go a little north. So, chocobos do normally start out yellow. Normal chocobo yellow. You can buy plants and feed them plants while you have them in a stable and change their color. So in this case, Artax, my chocobo. Bonus points for anybody that knows that reference. So Artax is like a violet because, well, purple's my favorite color. So okay, now we're doing a wind spirit. So now we ourselves had to do this at like 5, 10, and 15. So we're basically just refighting spirits that we had to fight before. Gods! The wind blew straight through me and felt both gentle and sharp at the same time. I can't explain it. Is this something you can conjure? Let's be on our way. The last one is at Lilystone. This is going to be the water spirit. Lilystone. What is that? Oh, right. Okay, down there. If you click on the quest, it will actually, or click on the text for the quest, not the quest name, it will show it to you on the map. Even if it's on a different map, it'll still show it to you. To admit, I haven't spent a lot of time in the Black Shroud, so I don't know my way around as well. Black Shroud's a big forested area. Then you have the Anlin, which is a desert, and Linoskia is a plains, mountains, seaside cliffs, that kind of thing. So what we're going to run into here is there's actually, you can see this on the map. Let's bring up the other map. This is what we call what's called a trial. And we're too high level for it, so we're going to skip right by it. But normally, these trials, they just show up all over randomly the map. They have levels that are based on the area. So over here, this one's higher because Sorrel Haven here, there's a log that you go up, and it's basically on a plateau. Up top of that plateau, there is it's higher level. It's around 30s. But down here, you get 10, 11, 8, because it's one of the starting areas. So the trials, when you complete the trials, you have the option of, if you walk into it, you can level sync, which will take you down to the level. And you just do whatever it tells you to do. A lot of times it's just killing things until the bar fills up. And then once the bar fills up, you're good to go. You get a reward, you get a lot of extra rewards. Some events based off of doing things for the fate. With these different fates in different areas. We're not worried about that. We're just going to come here. Get our corrupted water going. And attack corrupted water. And your Chocobo companion is on a timer. Basically you need Grishal Runes in order to summon him. So it becomes on a half-hour it becomes on a half-hour timer. But as it levels, you can click here on your mount. Nope, not mount. Try again. Companion under player, and you get different buttons that you can give it. So like, if you're fighting something that I don't want it to fight anymore, I can tell it to withdraw. I like to just give it free stance. And there's a mount and dismount for your Chocobo, your company Chocobo itself. And there's a tree, a talent tree. Now I have mine at 6. See, he's level 6, and I have going straight down the DPS tree because I was leveling him with Summoner, and the Titan Eggy, once you get it, is a tanking companion. So basically I'd send in the tanking companion, and then me and the Chocobo would just unleash on whatever it was. It made a lot of things really easy. Oh, now that was all 3 corrupted spirits, so now we just go back to Isumiyan. So there is a spell that will let you go to your home point, but you can also just teleport to any of the large crystals at any time. Well, as long as you're not in combat, and it just costs skill, so money. I'm running there to show you the difference. So Gridania is actually split into 2 different sections. There's New Gridania, which is where the giant crystal is, and then there's Old Gridania. So when we teleported earlier to the Conjurer's Guild, this is where it put us. It actually put us right over there, where that person's standing. So this is Sprint. Sprint is your best friend until 20. 20 is when you get your first mount. That's your Chocobo. You get that through a Grand Company. It's part of the main story. Basically, you have to be not just level 20, but you have to progress the main story quest line up to 20. Welcome back, my avid conjurers. How fared you in your encounter with the elements? Sophie, what did you sense as Silkar cleanse sources of corruption? It was hard to explain. It was like hearing voices crying out in joy. And I felt their happiness wash over me. The world seemed sharper, more alive. It was almost as if nature was speaking to me. But why, brother Isumi? Why did my mother teach me to avoid this side of conjuring? What was she so afraid of? There are certain truths that hide behind the mask of our words, and there is much that your mother didn't tell you, but you needn't seek all the answers at once, Sylvan. Even now, your mind founders amid a sudden inundation of awareness. The first time we connect with nature can be a wonderful but disorienting experience. I suggest you allow yourself some time to adjust to this new perspective. Yes, Guildmaster. Hi. You have my gratitude, Silkar. Thanks to you, Sophie has taken an important step. You heard her mention voices crying out in joy, did you not? It appears the mother's gift has been passed on to the daughter. Such sensitivity is not something one can achieve through meditation and training, but a blessing that only a few fortunate chosen receive. And, as you have no doubt surmised, Sophie's mother was one such person. Basically, nature spirits talked to her. The misunderstanding of that blessing, however, was what led her down such a tragic path. We cannot allow Sophie's astonishing talents to consume her in the same manner. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. The girl has barely awoken to her potential. And for that potential to be fully realized, your support is yet needed. I suspect she failed to mention the promise of your involvement in her lessons was the reason for her change of heart. You underestimate the impression of your quiet determination that is made on young Sophie. If modesty prevents you from acknowledging your own good deeds, consider the task part of your training. For conjurers are healers of wounds, be they physical or otherwise. Walk with her on her journey, Silkar, and together explore the myriad mysteries of nature. Alright, so we finished class. Now we get a Helm Crook, which is a two-handed conjurer's weapon. And now we have to pick one of these out of the options. And those gloves aren't bad. Mask is a little better than what I got. So we're going to pick the mask.